In this video, we will cover decorators. Decorators are not some kind of special Python object, but they are simply functions that extend the functionality of other functions or classes. So for example, here we define a simple add function that returns the sum of x and y, and then we can decorate this function. So we define the decorated add, where we call the normal add, and to that add a fancy print statement, so that we get the output result of add and then our value. This example is very static, because in the decorated function we refer to a specific normal function. And in this case we could simply write one function that contains the normal addition and also the decoration. So to turn this decoration functionality into a useful feature, we have to make it more dynamic. And we do that by adding an additional parameter to our decorated function. And this parameter takes our normal function. So the normal function goes into the decorated function, from there we call it and then also add our decoration. And so now we can pass multiple functions to this decorated function. So we have here a add function, subtract and multiply function, and we can pass all these to the decorated function, which performs the normal computations and also adds the decoration. So calling the decorated function with the add and the values that we want to add together gives us this output here. So we get the decoration, result of add, and then the sum. In the next line, the decorated function gets the subtract as an argument, and also the two values that we want to subtract, they go into x and y. The subtraction is then calculated with our subtract function, and then the decorated function prints result of, then the function's name, which will be subtract, and then also the result that we calculated. So here, -1. The problem with this syntax is that we have to write a lot of code if we want to decorate our function. So every time we want to, for example, decorate our multiply, we have to call decorated function and then multiply. To fix this inconvenience, we can override our original function. And this is now the proper structure of a decorator. So the decorator is a function that takes some other function and will then return a decorated version of that function. And the decoration happens inside of the decorator. So here we define the decorated function, making use of the normal function and the decoration part, and then once we have defined that function, we can simply return it. And so now we can define again our add, and then we call our decorator with the add. So the add goes into the decorator, and from it the decorator creates the decorated function, which is then returned, and it overrides our original add. So when we now call our add, we actually call the decorated version, and thus also get the decorated output. There is one more step that we can take to simplify the syntax even more. And in this step, we're not changing anything conceptually, but we're just adding some syntactic sugar, which comes in form of this add sign. So when we define our normal function, we write a add and then our decorator function on top, and this will automatically perform the assignment. So when we write add decorator, this will automatically pass the add to the decorator function and override it with the decorated version. So again, we call the add and we get the decorated output. Moving on to another example. Here our normal function is the hello, which returns the string hello world, and we decorate this function with the bold function. And what this bold function does is that it wraps the bold signs around the result of our function. So when we call the decorated hello, we get the hello world plus the bold signs. And we can render the string with the HTML function that we can import from the ipython.display. And this gives us then a bold version of the hello world. With this example, we can also see how we can chain decorators. So again, we have our basic hello function, and this time we decorate it with the italic function, then the bold function, and then the HTML function. And so when we now call our hello, it will be bold, italic, and automatically rendered. One problem with decorators is that the docstring gets lost. So when we call the question mark on the hello, we can see there is no docstring. And to fix that, we can make use of yet another decorator that we import from the functools, and it's called wraps. And we put this decorator above our inner functions, and this will simply copy the docstring of the original function to the decorated function. So now when we call the hello question mark, we have a docstring that says returns hello world. Finally, an exercise for you. Your task is to add the red decorator, which when applied should color the hello world red. And to do that, you can wrap the string into this HTML code.